Oh, no, no. Oh, don't do me like no. Good people. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm checking my. Oh, come on. Get back. Soon as I get online. Soon as I get online. Let me switch my screen. As soon as I get online, want to do something positive. Computer starts acting funny. Give me one moment. This is Pipeline Patterns Part 3, the box that has been made for us to fit inside of. This is Mr. Cage, training specialist and training developer. Power Hour Conversation. Yes, I am in the mix. I'm in the mix. I'm looking at my other screen, as you know. We got to do some shares. We got to do some shares real quick. Excuse me. Shout out to my EU family. I'm going to do a couple of shares with them, and then we'll do what we need to do. Good people. Let's do this. Please be patient with me. 609 per share. It's Entrepreneurs United. Let's go. To share to our couple of our groups. Computers back on line. Thank you. Because it's a conversation that every entrepreneur needs to hear. The box that has been made for us to fit inside of. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. Getting ready to do my shares into these two groups. And from there, we pop out, y'all. Thank you for being patient with me. Hopefully, my people will be able to get in where they fit in. All right. I think that's it for us. The shares has been done. Now I'm going back to. Oh, I got a couple more shares to do, and then we will get to it. So in this Facebook Live, I'm sharing our good business Google business page for review purposes. In addition to our Google form, just in case, we run across people who will like this conversational presentation at the community center location. So I'm gonna have to do the same shares over here in the EU group. And this will give people time. Hopefully it'll give people time to jump in and support it. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing in Entrepreneurs United, we got 5 people in there. Be patient with me, y'all. I'm trying to get all this out. And then we'll give me like 2 minutes. And then we will get to it. And I'm sharing Entrepreneurs United. And I'm sharing in almost ready. So I break down to you what I'm sharing and what the process, what I'm doing. Let's see if I can share over here to. I wonder if I can share over in the Mr. Cage profile page. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for being patient with me. I sure appreciate it. Let me get this message out to help folks, you know. Switch. Here we go. We rocking. We rocking and rolling today, y'all. It is going down. This is truly a conversation that every entrepreneur needs to hear. I'm going to share with you the box, what this box is, and how this box was made, and also too how that box limits us. All right, we good. I don't think I'm gonna share any other groups today. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We in there. We in there. And then I'm about EU Family Entrepreneurs United. I'm gonna put these links in our group to sign up and the Google business page. So if you haven't already done that, you can share your reviews with us. Thank y'all for staying patient. We're going to log in. All right, go people. Let's do this. This conversation that we'll have this evening it's extremely important because there is a restriction on our services that we provide, the products that we have, and there's a restriction to the revenue that we generate. And with those restrictions, those limitations, we can only do so much. And it impacts us in so many areas of life, but it impacts our quality of life and our kids and our kids' kids. It impacts this generation and the generation to come. We'll go as deep as necessary in this conversation. And then I'm going to move back and forth and, be veering back to the screen. So if you see me look to the left, which is your right, I'm looking at another screen to make sure that I'm interacting with people that's on these different live streams. So if you got feedback, if you have experiences that you want to share, if you have questions about anything that is said during this power hour, please put them in the comment section. Also, if you're watching this, whether it be live or after the broadcast is over with, you're going to see two links. The first link that you will see is a review link. Please go to our Google business page and provide a review based on this conversation that you're involved in, because this is a service that we're providing to the digital community to impact and enhance the quality of our lives. Secondly, you will see a Google form titled The New School to Prison Pipeline. Pipeline patterns is a subtopic that's covered under the whole umbrella of the school to prison pipeline. Feel free to fill out that Google form if you are in whatever community that you believe could use this information. If it's valuable to you, feel free to fill out that Google form, or you may run into another community that may want to use this or may want to be involved in this type of conversation as well. It's a very intense conversation. It's based on my lived out experience. Yep, it's based on my lived out experience as an educator for over 18 some odd years. And in 18 some odd years of training and developing, I've had the opportunity to work with over 10,000 kids alone, from grades kindergarten to 12th. Also, I've been involved in training, professionals in the area of facilitating anger management and life skills, in addition to training the teachers, the educators on culturally sensitive methods and strategies that's important for them to grasp and gather when they're sharing and teaching our kids these academic concepts. Let's go. And that's important, y'all. So let me say this. We have to be sensitive to what we hear and how we hear. We have to be sensitive to what we listen to and who we listen to, because there are many voices on these social media platforms that are providing different snippets, little snapshots, but we don't really know if these people have the fruit or the outcome from which they speak. You have a lot of teachers now that the social media opportunity is open. Be careful. That's why I let you know what my experience was, because we teach what we live and we live what we teach. Anytime you see us do a keynote, speaking engagements, facilitation, or these type of conversations that we have online. It is from a lived out experience, trial and error, but we've been successful in the specific area that we having a conversation about. Real talk. Let's go. I'm going to do a screen share with you. Now, and we are going to get it in today, my people. Yeah, we're going to get it in today. I'm going to check my other screen to see what's taking place over there. Pipeline patterns, part 3. The box that has been made for us to fit inside of. There is a box that has been made. Keyword is made. When something is made, what it means is that there are different components and ingredients that comprise of the entire dish. I'll use it in the form of cooking. You may want to cook some spaghetti for your family, but the spaghetti, there's different ingredients that's necessary in order for it to be made. Put the ingredients together, put it on the stove, and you have a finished product. There has been a box made for us to fit inside of. But let me say this. We were not created to fit inside of a box, but a box has been made for us to fit inside of. Created, the word created and the word made they are not the same word. They have different connotations. They have different meanings. We were created, but there hasn't been a box that has been made for us to fit inside of. But we weren't created to fit inside of a box. Man has taken it upon itself to grab ingredients and create the system. And the system is a box. Do me a favor in the comment section. Type the word chess versus checkers. Or you could just type the word chess. You can just type the word chess for me. Chess. CHESS. Some of us, personally and professionally, are playing checkers, while others are playing chess. Some of us are playing checkers, while others are playing chess. Checkers, fast moves, short term, can be considered as reaction or reactionary. Simple moves, immediate gain, man, impulsivity, instant gratification. But here we go with the chess. Chess. We have to think ahead in chess. It's reflective of building a legacy. What goals and associated with chess, strategy, and planning, positioning over pieces, foresight and vision, long-term success, sacrifice for growth, understanding the full board. It says that checker is about making moves. Chess is about understanding the board. I was doing work with a family, and the work that I was doing was a combination of life coaching, career development, and academics. I met a young man. He was in the sixth grade, and he knew how to play chess. So our sessions would be 2-hour sessions. And at first we started out, playing Uno, Connect Four, Flip Uno, just as a warm up, to get our brains going, enhancing our ability to think critically. He began to teach me how to play chess. So type chess in the comment section for me. This is important because the box that has been made for us to fit inside of was a chess move. It was a chess move. It encapsulated and captured people that are checker people. Trust me, the box. And when I say box, I'm specifically referring to the system that has been made for us to fit inside of. But keep in mind, we were not created to fit inside of a box, though a box has been made for us to fit inside of. That box was made by individuals who were chess players. Figuratively speaking, they were playing chess. The system itself it houses people that have a checker mentality. When this young man was teaching me how to play chess, I'm not familiar with chess at the time. I had to understand the rules of engagement. So type that in the comment section for me as well. The rules of engagement. Rules of engagement is determined or contingent on the game that you're playing. Rules of engagement is reliant or contingent on the game that you're playing or the game that you find yourself within. So I had to learn the rules of engagement. What I did was I went on Google and I found a graphic of how each one of these pieces move. So when him and I would play, I would have my computer in front of me and we were playing in-person chess, and I would have to look over to my computer and see how these pieces move. But eventually I learned how each piece moved. I didn't reach a level of mastery with it, but I became familiar with it. One session we were playing chess and I kept moving these pieces. And when I was moving the pieces, he said at least 2 times, "You can't do that." And I'm saying, "Why?" Because that piece doesn't move like that. What? Okay. I moved the piece illegally. He said it again. That piece doesn't move like that. I said, "Well, hold on." And I'm looking at my cheat sheet, but I'm still moving the pieces in the wrong manner. And I looked at him and I said to him, "Man, I got a checkers mentality, but we playing chess. I have a checkers mentality, but we're playing chess." Question to you. in terms of your business, because this is a conversation primarily for entrepreneurs, but it's applicable to all areas of life, especially when you talk about school system itself. But specifically for entrepreneurs right now, the question is this: are you playing checkers or are you playing chess? One aspect about chess is that every piece has a different role, movement, and value. You have to think like several moves ahead. You got to protect your pieces. You have to sacrifice when necessary, control space, and understand how each move affects the entire board. He would set himself up to take my pieces with his moves. So his moves, when I'm speaking his moves, I'm speaking about my former student and pupil. His moves were set up in such a way to take my pieces. He was thinking very long term, but he knew how the pieces move. In this segment, I will leave you with this. If you are playing chess, you have to know how the pieces move and look at the board. You have to look at the entire board and calculate in your mind how each piece moves and the strategy. Checkers is much easier. Please hear what I'm saying. Checkers is much easier to learn how to play than chess is. Chess takes more time. Entrepreneurs, creating a system takes time. It takes time. I would rather work on a system that I'm building than to work inside of a system that has already been built. I would rather, as an entrepreneur, work on a system that I'm building versus work inside of a system that's already been built. Now, I'll say this. You can work inside of a system that has already been built with hopes and anticipation that you can build your own system. But you got to be willing to get out of the checkers mentality and transition into a chess mentality. Let's see what we got. Checking on the people. Let's go. I'm sharing my screen again. And as we go through this conversation, keep in mind that there has been a box created for us to fit inside of, but we were not created to fit inside of a box. I want you to keep that in mind throughout this whole hour power conversation. I decided to put this portion in here, and I'm going to run through it quickly because I want to really stay focusing on task and keep in mind the objective that we have as we have this conversation. Because our kids are getting ready to graduate from high school. I want you to type graduate in the comment section. Graduate. Graduate. This is very, very important. This is extremely, extremely important. Oftentimes, when I have conversations with young people, people that are getting ready to graduate from high school, there's a fair amount of conversation I find myself involved in where kids don't know what they want to do when they get ready to leave the building. That's not okay. That's not okay. Ideally, we want our students to know what their career pathway is when they leave the building. However, and from my professional experience and from working with various nationalities and age groups over that 18 plus years of being an educator, most kids don't know. Can I tell you why? Type Y in the comment section for me. They don't know because they don't know who they are. You can be educated. You can be educated in a academic sense or in a vocational sense. You can be educated and not know who you are. You can experience achievement, but desperately hunger for fulfillment. Achievement can never bring fulfillment because achievement is external. Fulfillment is internal. Kids don't know oftentimes what they want to do when they leave high school because they don't know who they are. Why? Various reasons. But this will be a couple because we emphasize education, which is number 10. Certification, degree, accreditation. Accreditation means college that are accredited. We place a lot of emphasis on the education from an academic standpoint, not the education associated with their purpose, identity, and gift. We are going backwards. Clichely, clichely, we putting the cart before the horse. So we focusing on the education. Our society is cultured that way. Our emphasis should be on what's your purpose? Because when you discover your purpose, what you are designed to do, it moves beyond the four walls of the institution. Four walls, the brick and mortar four walls, and the internalization of those four walls. Please make a note. Please make this note. Please make this note. Walls, limitations manifest externally from the inside, internally. The limitations that we see in our lives, personally, professionally, whether it be in your career or your business, those walls, those limitations, you see them. You see the manifestation of them externally, but they came from the inside because of environments that we found ourselves in that was impacting us. And before we knew it, it was externalized. You can see it outside of us, but we didn't know. We didn't know what those environments were doing. Resharing, because I don't want to be long with this. I'm giving this as a tip for parents. Because the quicker that your child realizes what they want to do after high school, the less stress that you have. So take them through this process. Number one, purpose. Son, daughter, what is your purpose? Do you know what the word purpose means? Identity. Understanding who you are and what values that you stand for. So your identity will be in direct correlation to your values. And your values or value system is what we deem important. That's an important attribute because the decision that a person makes in terms of their career pathway is going to come from what they value, what's important to them. So I'll give you an example. There has been times in my career where I turned down money because though that is a part of my value system, it's not the top priority in my value system. We all share similar values. However, the priority we place on those values determines the decision that we make from that priority. 3, gift. What are you great at? And let me clarify this because your gift is free. It is what comes naturally to you without you really even thinking about it. Your gift is what you're great at, and your talent is what you're good at. Sometimes what we're good at gets in the way of what we're great at. 4, 5, and 6, interest, passion, and exposure. 7, exploration. 8, experience, and 9. And 10, 9, hard and soft skills, and 10, education. Without going through those steps, without going through those steps, excuse me, or that exercise, we can be in the box. But I wanted to give that to us because of the graduation season. There are many people who graduated from the building and didn't know what they wanted to do. There are many people that graduated from the building that went into a post-secondary situation that left them unfulfilled. Your actions don't only affect you. It's unfortunate because our actions, we don't think long term how our actions affect individuals or people or family. There are people, and a great man of God shared this. I can't share the exact words that he did share, but I will say this. It's unfortunate because, and I'm saying this from a negative standpoint, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate as far as consequences because our kids at time are dealing with the consequences of our actions and they don't know what they're dealing with. Our kids, in a negative sense, are dealing with the consequences of our actions, but they haven't realized what they've been dealing with. And so the man of God said that some people don't really start living their life till they like 40 and 50 because they had to fight the demons, the strongholds, the dysfunctions that they inherited from a generation. They had to go and solve those problems and conquer those situations. Then after the war or the battle was won, now I'm free to start. I'm free and clear now, to begin living my life. These in context were checker players, not chess. We were thinking from an instant gratification standpoint and being impulsive. And at times we just lacked education. We lack resources. I want to go into another thought, but I'm going to be sensitive to the time because it's already 6:46 and we are not even a third into pipeline patterns part 3. A box is not a home. And here we go. We were not created to fit inside of a box. Yet, a box has been made for us to fit inside of. Make a note. God creates, man makes. Sometimes a good idea mutates. Sometimes a God idea mutates into a good idea. But I'll tell you what I mean by that. Now let's go historically. Let me take a moment, take a pause moment. Now here we go. This is a key moment for us. Oh, okay. Thank you, y'all. Auntie, shout out to Auntie, Miss Alexander. Make sure y'all share this. This is in there. These are nuggets. These are nuggets. It's important it's important that when we get online, everything that we get online is not truth, and everything that we get online is not factual. Can I stop my share, please, before I go into this historical space? Everything that we see online is not truth, and everything that we see online is not factual. What I will tell you is that we have to be so discerning because people have the tendency to impose their opinions, their feelings, their emotions. And at times we don't even know it because we're so engrossed in the video, the person speaking, how the video was created, crafted, the different elements, aesthetic elements of a video itself. We have to be very careful. I say that because I've done enough research as far as observation. And when we talk about the school to prison pipeline and we talk about the public education system, we have people that impose that it was created, oh, not created, I'm sorry, made by factory workers, industrialization, and those all play factors in the making of it. But I'm here to bring clarity. I'm here to bring clarity to some of these assumptions, some of these implications. And when people impose what they think or how they think about historical topics, I'm here to I'm here to clear the land so we can have clarity. And we have clarity, in our understanding, we can make better, more effective decisions. Did factory worker owner design the school system? Short answer, not exactly. Public schools were shaped. Please hear this. Public schools were shaped by reformers and government. Let me stop my share. I repeat, I repeat, public schools were shaped by reformers and government, but industrial age thinking strongly influenced how schools were organized. So the reformers and the government shaped public schools, but the industrial age, the thinking associated with it, is strongly influenced how schools were organized. Who shaped public schooling? That's question one. Why the factory comparison? Question number two. And then the fact check. The common school movement helped build tax-funded public schools. Reformers like Horace Mann, you will hear his name often. Horace Mann, HORACEMANN, pushed for trained teachers, public funding, and education for citizenship. Public schooling was created through state reform, not by factory owners alone. State reform and not by factors or factories alone. Why the factory comparison? As industrialization grew, schools increasingly reflected industrial values. Bells and fixed schedules to this day, bells and fixed schedules are still in place. Age-graded classrooms, standardized lessons, which has its place, but can be very dangerous. Roles, supervision, and efficiency, and preparation for a managed workforce. This is dangerous stuff. The myth is that factory owners single-handedly designed the school system. Absolutely not. Public schools grew out of civic and state reform, but industrial society heavily influenced structure and routines in terms of schooling. I want you to type the word standard. 2 words, factory and standard. So we've given you some historical reference as to how this box was made. This educational box that was made, we fit individuals inside of that box from a standardization standpoint. Was it intentional? I don't know. I won't superimpose that. It's not meant for me to impose that. It's meant for me to, give the facts and give insight associated with the facts, and then provide revelation as to what it looks like now. This definitely gonna have to be in part 2. Man. This just not gonna work for us today. Remember this. Remember this. You have to remember this. Good ideas can produce boxes. Good ideas can produce boxes. Good ideas can produce boxes. When I say good, I'm saying man-made ideas can produce restrictions, limitations, and control. Good ideas can produce boxes. Ideas, let me say this. Everything comes from God. However, you have to have a medium or a mediator that can put God's ideas into execute God's ideas into the earth. But when the medium is tainted and has its own agenda, a God idea transforms into a good idea, which equates to a box, restriction, limitation, and control, and inequality. I'll leave you with that. Contrary to popular opinion, let me hold on. Let me bag it up. 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 Let me summarize what is being conveyed right now. Remember, Pipeline Patterns Part 3 is a conversation that every entrepreneur needs to hear because there has been a box made for us to fit inside of. We weren't created to fit inside of a box, but there has been a box made for us to fit inside of. What is that box that I'm speaking of? The education system, because of its association and evolution into the industrial age, the impact and influence that the industrial age had on the school system, that environment, because most of us have been through public school, even if you've been through private school, the model is still the same. When you find yourself in that environment, you become a product of that environment until you get exposed to another environment. Even as an entrepreneur, which we'll discuss in a moment, entrepreneurs, many of us have transitioned into solopreneurs because of the systems and the environment that we have been exposed to, and that's been ingrained in us from kindergarten all the way up to the 12th grade. Contrary to popular opinion, You cannot achieve everything simply by putting your mind to it. This notion, this idea has led to a surplus of generalists. I despise that thought. I despise that thought. I despise that thought. Especially, I cringe when I hear older people, educators, principals, motivational speakers. I cringe when we say to our kids, you can do anything you put your mind to. Absolutely not. I understand why it's said because what you don't want to do is place a limitation on the kids at such a young age. But I would say this, it is still a limitation because if I believe that I can do everything that I put my mind to, it can make me very general in my approach. And any person, male or female, no matter what nationality they were, in order for them to be great, they had to be a specialist. In order for them to achieve greatness, they had to concentrate on one area and become a GOAT in that area because they specialized in that area. They concentrated on that area. They focused on that area. They gave everything that they had to that specific area. So this is what I would say to kids, and this was me sharing with you. Guess what, y'all? I've heard it said before that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Absolutely not. You cannot. You can do anything you can do anything that you put your mind to as long as it's according to your purpose. If it's associated with your purpose and you put your mind to what your purpose is, what you will do, you will be successful. Think about it, y'all, because that puts us, when we become generalists, we get, when we begin, this is for entrepreneurs, remember, when we become generalists, we get distracted by what we good at because people told us and they embedded this concept in us when we were in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and fourth, that you can do anything you put your mind to. Really? So just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I need to be focusing on it. But because we had that concept, that belief system, we go in that direction. And we become a Jack and Jane of all trades and master of none. Goats are masters at their trades and their discipline. He or she may he or she he or she may focus he or she may focus on one aspect of what they do. It may open up doors to others. So I'm gonna shorten this up just for sake of time because I wanted to because we started it like a little bit later than I wanted to, but shout out to EU for support. I appreciate y'all. I was looking at the time. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Let's say this: for 9 months, students wake up, move from period to period, complete tasks, and repeat structure. Over time, learning becomes associated with compliance instead of curiosity. Going back to the Horace Mann Association in combination to industrialization. I don't want to touch on this because I need to get where I need to get, but oh yeah, we'll finish out here. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We'll finish out here. We will finish out here. We will finish out here. Yeah, we'll finish out here. I'm taking a moment to see if you got any questions. Questions, thoughts, comments, throw them in. Keep in mind, it's a conversation every entrepreneur needs to have. The box, we were not created to fit inside of a box, but there has been a box made for us to fit inside of because we have been exposed to public education. We have those different theories, ideologies, and concepts has been embedded in us intentionally, unintentionally, consciously, and subconsciously. Also, too, in our entire environment, we grew up around employees. I'm not harping on employees. I'm not saying employees is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying specifically to entrepreneurs is that it can be very difficult to transition into entrepreneurship, not being self-employed, because there's a difference. But it can be difficult transitioning into entrepreneurship in general when our environment has reeked and been saturated by employeeism. Employeeism at its core was perpetuated, was promoted through education. That's why education is one of the most influential and important vehicles on the face of the planet. Not just the formal education, but the informal and the non-formal education and the other forms of education, because it's more than one form of education. So sometimes when you hear people use the word education, you have to find out what education is that person talking about. Are they talking about formal education? Are they speaking about informal education? Are they speaking about vocational? Are they speaking about self and development, continuous learning? What are you really speaking of? The setting and the context will give the correct meaning to that word itself. Let's finish out. Let's finish out. Let's finish this out. All right. We're going to get this is going to be our heavy portion of this conversation. Do me a great favor as we close this out. I promise that we'll be done by 7:15. 7:10 is the goal. Well, 7:15 is the hard stop. Yeah. Miss Alexander said I got 14 minutes. All right. I'm gonna keep this up. I want you to take this in. Our education system, from a formal education system, public education system, private education system, teaches us how to do work, not how to produce work. Our education system teaches us how to work, do work, not how to produce work. What is the difference? Type this word in the comment section for me, please. Work. W R, I'm sorry. WORK. And this is a heavy conversation. It may not sound heavy, but you watch the video and take some little snippets of what really struck you, and you think about it and ponder on it and evaluate it and see the different spaces and places if it fits in your life, you will find out that this is a very, very heavy conversation. Work. Work. Work is a noun and work is a verb. Work is something that you do, but work is also something that you produce. Yep. Let me share this with you from my brother's book, Mr. Peter Nugent, Systematic Wealth Creation. Work as it relates to service is labor intensive. is labor intensive. Work, as far as product, is leverage intensive. People find pride in working hard because of their culture that they came from. Well, I won't say they came from, I'm sorry. The culture that they grew up in. People that take pride in working hard. This is a controversial statement. People that take pride in, well, people who take pride in working hard is associated with the culture that they grew up in. Hard work is normally labor intensive. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a box. It's a pipeline pattern. Trust me. Smart workers understand that work is not only a verb, but it's a noun. It's a verb service that transitions into a noun, product, tangible product and intangible product, something that has physical presence, and intangible, something that does not have physical presence, digital product, but it's leverage intensive. For the more leverage that you have, in order to have leverage, you have to have a platform, a digital platform or a brick and mortar platform. You have to have a mechanism where you can insert your product into and cover massive territory. For example, YouTube. You can download a video on YouTube, a digital product that was produced from a service because you had to do it, verb, it transformed into a digital product, noun. You put it into a platform, a leverage mechanism, YouTube, and you're able to touch millions of people if you understand the rules of engagement associated with that platform. You can tap into and become rich and prayerfully touch wealth. I'm not knocking hard work at all. I'm just saying to you that most people take, and I'm saying this generally speaking, most people take pride in working hard because of the culture that they were raised in. I believe in hard work from a diligence standpoint, being consistent. I believe in that, but I don't believe it. I don't believe in hard work as far as sweating, grunting, muscle, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours. Yeah, that's not. I've been there before though. True or false? Here we go. Closing it out. True or false? To make more money, you must work more hours. True or false? True or false? True or false? To make more money, you have to work more hours. I'm gonna let you contemplate on that. True or false? To make more money, you must work more hours. True or false? I'll answer that question on in part 4. Entrepreneurs, I want you to think about this. To make more money, you specifically, to make more money, do you have to work more hours? Food for thought. When we were in junior high, we spent at least 6 to 7 hours in school, which produced a 9 to 5 mindset. If we didn't produce anything, the production in that aspect was exceptional grades. Back in the day, you were held back. Our personal and professional lives are measured by results, not activity. What our culture taught us, what the system, the box taught us, is that productivity is associated with the number of hours of your physical presence. From a school standpoint, you may see maintenance people, you may see administrative assistants, You may see teachers. You may see security guards, depending on what school you at. You may see your principals or assistant principals. But do you ever see the owners? Do you ever see those people? Do you ever see the decision makers? Administratively, they make more. They bring in more revenue than the people that are operators within the system. System creators, business owners, hear me. System creators always, always generate more revenue than the operators that move within the system that they created. I got, yep, we done. I have, let me see, five. I got five graphics to share with you. That's the box. That's the system. We were not created to fit inside of a box. Yet there has been a box made for us to fit inside of. Listen, get out of this loop. I just discussed it. Just gave it to you. Verb. I'm looking at my other screen. Verb. Work. Going to work. Earning wages. Verb. Going to work. Earning wages. Going to work as a verb. I'm going to a physical place and I'm producing wages. That's the loop. You gotta get out of that loop. You first get out of the loop by a change in mentality. And this is why this conversation is extremely important because what we've basically done was we've touched historically on the origin of the school system. I touched it a little bit when I prefaced Horace Mann. Or research Horace Mann, you spell his name HORACEMANN. But in other other school of pipeline presentations, I'm going to go to the very, very, very beginning because it was other individuals involved. But the historical reference point makes us kind of assess these different activities and these, I don't want to use the word nuances, but what I want to say is that you will see the habitual behavior patterns that this system has produced. And it should put you in a mind frame of, oh, this is why, as an entrepreneur, I may have a difficult time building a team. This is why I may have a difficult time letting my ideas go and letting people enhance and speak into my ideas. This is why I may have a difficult time because I'm working, because I have work associated with a verb and not a noun. Moving forward, I do have one. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna share this last. Normal is getting dressed in clothes that you buy for work, driving through traffic in a car that you're still paying for in order to get a job that you need so you can pay for the clothes and the clothes, car, and the house that you leave vacant all day so you can afford to live in it. You see that cycle again? Normal is getting dressed every day in clothes that you buy for work. Verb. Driving through traffic in a car that you're still paying for in order to get to a job that you need so you can pay for the clothes, the car, and the house that you leave vacant all day so you can afford to live in it. Mm-mm-mm. This is Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Cash Flow Quadrant. Many individuals are in the E and S quadrant, especially individuals that have businesses. Many of us are operating in the self-employed quadrant because we own a job. And if we stop working, that revenue will dry up. We have to tackle that issue. We have to tackle that issue, y'all. We have to tackle that issue. And I will leave you with this. You cannot do the same thing in a different economy and expect increase. You cannot do it. It's delusional to believe that you can do the same thing in a different economy and expect results. It's delusional. You cannot do the same thing in a different economy and expect increase. It will not happen. Look at the economy where it's at now. In some cases, in some areas of California, I saw that gas was $7, $8. We seen in Chicago that gas is $5. So you mean to tell me that when we see these economic peaks and valleys, these valleys, we are doing the same thing, or are we taking the same approach in regards to how we run and operate and scale our businesses? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. External change should always produce internal change. Yeah, the highest form, the purest sense, is to be proactive in your approach instead of being reactive. But in closing, you cannot do the same thing, take the same approach, be involved in the same activity, implement the same strategies in a different economy and expect increase. It will not happen. It will not happen. This is Mr. Cage closing out 7:20. I'm over time. The trainer. We've had an awesome time today. We were not created to fit inside of a box, yet there has been a box made for us to fit inside of. I shared with you from my viewpoint the box. Next time we connect, which may be next Thursday, I'm not sure. I'm going to show you how to think outside of the box. And where did this thought, this concept, this statement of thinking outside of the box come from? Where did it come from? We'll take a journey from the self-employed to business owner. And then I'll kind of trickle some school system historical facts and systems to make you more aware of, excuse me, how that system came about, how it evolved, what to look for to combat it so that your kids can recognize and realize their full potential and walk in power, identity, purpose, and live the quality of life that they have been predestined to live. Thank you all for being there and for staying the time that you stayed. Thank you all for sharing too. Shout out to Auntie. Shout out to Miss Alexander. Shout out to EU. I made sure this in another group so more people can share. But thank you for those who watched it in live time and those who will watch it later. The few links that you see in the comment section are links where you can give us a review. And if this type of information you see it or see and deem it useful to your community, reach out and we will coordinate and talk about presenting it on a smaller, larger scale. Thank you much. I want you to enjoy your weekend, enjoy your Friday. Be great at what you do, but as always, aim to be greater at who you are.